This old guy DIY video goes through the process that I applied when a friend of mine was looking for a utility trailer. He stopped by Tractor Supply. He said $1,000 for a 5x8 that'll carry about 1,200 pounds. That seems a little steep. Can you come up with something else? And for less than $200 worth of lumber and hardware, I was able to make this into a utility trailer for him. And I did a couple things that are unique in this build that may make it worth your time to watch. The utility box is held to the frame in only 3 places, so if he decides he wants to take the box off and put it on a different trailer, or if he wants to turn this thing back into a boat trailer, it's just 3/4 inch bolts and he can lift the box right off. You may like the cost-effective technique I came up with for attaching the rear gate. I didn't want to buy a 3rd sheet of plywood, so this is the answer I came up with to address the shortage of plywood right at the front of the trailer. And the way I laid this thing out, so the 2x4s across the top would interface. I put the D-ring right in the front and the middle, and then by having the sides not go up all the way, it provides all kinds of good places to tie on when you're putting a load in there. If you'd like to see the detail of how I built this thing, you'll see that in the next few minutes. My bill of materials consisted of 14 2x4s at $3 a piece, 2 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood at $35 a piece, and about $20 worth of hardware. I hope you enjoy the video. This old guy DIY video has to do with converting this boat trailer into a utility trailer. So a friend of mine has this boat trailer. He's going to sell the boat. He said he would like to make a lightweight utility trailer that'll have to carry no more than 1,000 pounds. So today I'm going to strip this thing down, turn it into a utility trailer, and show you how I do it. Here's an update now that the frame is done. So I pulled off the rollers that were on the trailer. I built this frame out of 2x4s. Each 2x4 weighs 10 pounds, so that's 60 pounds of structure on there. And when I was building it, I put the runners basically on 12-inch centers. And then for the sake of placement, I just put a couple of blocks here on the back and also on the front, so it's real easy to drop it into place. If he decides he wants this to be modular and he's going to use it as a boat trailer sometimes, the attachment technique is just 3 pieces of 6-inch long bed frame rail. So I have one here at the back. I have one at the back on the other side. And then my 3rd one is here in the center. When I talked to him, he said the most he plans to carry on this is perhaps 1,000 pounds. It'll probably be closer to 600 because his lawnmower is the heaviest item. All I have left to do now is make a run to town, get a 4x8 sheet of 3/4 inch plywood for the bed. I ordered some stake pockets from Amazon earlier today. They'll be here tomorrow. I'll make some sides for it, put a bed on it, and he'll be happy. When I attached the brackets here, I used 1/4 inch hardware with nylock nuts on the back. I'm back working on the trailer today. I picked up the plywood yesterday. I got these stake pockets from Amazon, and then I just fabricated the sides here so I can see what the location is for the stake pockets. And because I want a 4x8 sheet of plywood to fit onto this thing, there's going to be a piece of 3/4 inch plywood here. I have to move that 2x4 out by 3/4 of an inch. So I'll put a spacer under the stake pocket before I install that. Right now I'm just going to lay the 4x8 sheet of plywood in there, use some structural screws, and fasten it down. I use these 2.5 inch screws to hold the 3/4 inch plywood to the 2x4s. And in the corners, I just put one on the front edge, one on the side. I did that on all 4 corners. I put one in the center, and then I put one in the center on each side. In 10 years, he's going to have to replace this thing anyway, so there's no need to fasten this down as if it's a floor. Doing it this way, when it's time to replace that piece of plywood, he just has 11 screws that he has to back out. As I get ready to put the stake pockets on, I have these little pieces that are 2.5 by 6 3/4. I just put one screw in the middle, and I had gone through previously and marked with a pencil where the front of the stake pocket was. Now that this is in place, I'll hold the stake pocket up to it, drill the holes through, and put my carriage bolts in there. As I built this thing, I've got a couple of observations. The square holes here for the carriage bolts are sized for a 3/8 inch bolt. I'm only going into 2x4 lumber. I did not want to use 3/8" bolts. This thing will not be seeing much load at all. So what I did is just drilled a 1/4" hole. Then I used a regular hex bolt with washers on both sides. And I put a nylock nut on the inside, as you know, this wood will be subject to weather, and eventually it's going to shrink or part of it will break off or whatever the case is. But at least with the washer and nylock nut on the inside, it will always stay there. And then when he's looking at his trailer in 5 or 10 years and this board shakes a little bit, he'll say, oh yeah, I better go down there and check on that. And then after I had the stakes in the pockets, I measured, and I have 23 3/4 to the top of each of those boards. Then I came to the bottom of this hole that was designed for a pin. I'm just putting these 2.5" structural screws in. I'm finishing the trailer modification today. And as I was building this thing, I wanted this tailgate to go all the way end to end with one piece. So that was 49.5. So that meant that the front piece was going to be less than 49.5. And I didn't want to spend another $30 on an extra sheet of 3/4" plywood. So what I did is up here in the center, rather than 2x4s as I have as the stakes all the way around, I took a 2x8. I just came in on the bottom and I cut a couple inches in on each side so it would fit. Now I just finished lining it up and squaring it up. I marked here because I was a little long. I'll cut that off. Then I'll install this thing in the middle and we'll be good to go. With that 2x8 in there between those two pieces of 3/4" plywood, it allowed a nice spot for me to put a little D-ring so he can tie down whatever he has for load in the front. And I don't care for all the metal on metal bouncing when you're driving around. So I took a piece of garden hose and I just cut a chunk off, and then I kind of double wrapped it here and put a zip tie on it. Now with that garden hose as a dampener, it'll basically keep the metal from hitting metal every time he hits a bump, make for a little bit quieter ride. Here's the tag from that D-ring. It says it's good for 1,600 pounds. When I was working to install the back corner here, I noticed that this board had cracked. So I drilled a 1/4" hole with a 3/4" countersunk area to accept the washer. Then I put a 3.5" bolt that's a 1/4" diameter through there with a nylock nut on the bottom. Since the tailgate has potential to take a load going that direction, this bolt will keep this 2x4 from cracking and allowing that to go if the load were to shift, for example. So I put that vertical bolt through the 2x4 on both sides. When it came to latching the tailgate, I just took a piece of angle iron, and it has 2 holes on this side and 1/2" hole that's actually the pin that holds the tailgate on. When it came to the pin for the tailgate, I just used one of these clevis pins that came from an assortment at Tractor Supply. So I have a 1/2" diameter pin. It just has one of these little clips on it. And we have the head of the pin on the outside. The clip goes on the inside where that piece of angle iron is. And any load that the tailgate takes should be pushing back that way. So the pin is set up properly. There shouldn't be any load going out, so we don't have to worry about this little spring clip on the clevis pin. But from an engineering standpoint, I think this will be just fine. And with this pin set up, when he removes the tailgate for whatever reason, he can just stick the pin back through this side 2x4, put that little clip on it, and he'll never lose the pin. As I was consulting my buddy when I was making this thing, I asked how often he would actually pull the sides off, and he said the only time I'll take the sides off is if I'm hauling a lawnmower or something that's wider. His current lawnmower has a 42-inch deck, so it will fit in here just fine. So the way I built it is the sides are held on with 3 of those structural screws, 1 in each of the stake pockets. So we have both sides held down, and then the front is not screwed into the stake pockets. So the front is held to the sides with this angle iron, and it has 2 1/4" bolts with nylock nuts that attach the front, and then there's 1 1/4" bolt with a nylock nut here that attaches to the side. So if he wants to pull the front out for some reason, all he has to do is take this nut and the matching nut on the other side. Between the trailer and the wood that I put on here, he's got about 400 pounds. So if he limits his load to 1,000 pounds or so, everything should be great. The C-Range tires are rated for 980 pounds a piece. So the weak link here is actually the axle. but he said he expects to haul finds from Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, maybe occasionally some wood or Quikrete, but he suspects that having a load over 1,000 will never happen with this trailer. When talking about converting this boat trailer, we left the tongue long on purpose. If he's carrying 12 or 14 foot piece of lumber, he can just pull that front piece off, let the lumber extend right along the tongue, and he still has the majority of the load back there, so it'll be comfortable for him. And the other thing is he wheels and deals in kayaks. So if he goes to pick up 3 or 4 kayaks, it's easy to pull the front off, lay the kayaks in there, and have everything contained.